All right, we're back. We're back. Welcome back. Buenos dias. '80s suspense. How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? How am I feeling? I'm all right. I'm getting back to normal. It's been like a week, man. I've been sort of congested for a week. It was a long, very, it just sort of stuck around with me, this sickness. So I'm good, though. I'm good. I feel good. Just all week's been sort of shitty. Not all week, but the last 4 days. Yeah. Back in Miami, yep. Why back in Miami, but not me? So a long weekend leads to a short week. That's what I love to. It's what I love to hear, man. A long weekend leading to a short week. So we got a long weekend this weekend, coming back today, first day of the week, and then we got a short week. So love it. You know, I love that. That's my favorite. I like a nice. I like more time off. Give me more time off. I think as you become a more experienced trader, as you've been doing this for a long time, you really cherish the days that the market's closed. I know when you first start trading, you don't want the market to close because you want to continue to learn or continue to do whatever you're doing, whether it's gambling or not. Either way, you don't want the market to close. I'm at the point where I want the market to close. I want the market to be closed. I want to relax because I know how much, I guess you put a lot of focus into when the market is open. It takes everything. It takes everything out of you. And if it's not taking everything out of you, then you're probably not focused enough to succeed. Because I know when I'm done for the trading for the day, my capacity, my brain capacity after the week is shot. On a Friday, I'm shot, and I need that weekend to recover. So I'm motivated, definitely motivated for this week. It's been a nice break. And so, yeah, I'm ready to go. I need my fix. Open the market. I need my fix. So, Tuesday, September 5th. Yeah. Let's get this is a funny day. I'm not going to bring it up on stream, but yeah. September 5th for some reasons. We'll talk about it in the Discord. Probably won't talk about it here. So press that like button, guys, if you could. Subscribe to the channel. If you guys could as well. If you're new here, we do this every single morning starting at 8 a.m. And yeah, let's do it. Need a warm tea? Yeah, I do. I've been drinking tea. I'm a little congested still. You could probably hear it in my voice. So, all right, we're here for the schedule. Let's do the schedule. Let's get it started. 0905 economic earnings calendar. I don't think you're going to have much on the economic calendar this week, guys. It is a short week. There's really not much on the earnings calendar either. There's GameStop for all you GameStop fanatics out there. But the economic calendar is pretty light as well. So let me pull that up so you guys can see that. There's really nothing out there. There it is. So obviously yesterday, Labor Day, markets closed. Today, factory orders, really nothing there either. Tomorrow, U.S. trade deficit, services PMI, ISM services, beige book, really nothing there. Thursday, jobless claims, productivity, unit labor costs, some Fed presidents speaking here. Really just sort of nothing major there, just Fed presidents. And then Friday, nothing really. So pretty much a silent week in terms of economic news. Next week, you do have CPI and PPI. So pretty much a silent week this week. It's a short week, obviously. And then also you have next week, you have PPI and CPI. So there's this week, pretty light. You know, normal jobless claims on Thursday is probably the only really thing that moves anything, honestly. Yeah. So economic calendar light, earnings calendar light. That means we can focus a little bit more on the price action this week, hopefully, and get at least some decent moves. I could expect there to be some low volatility due to markets being, due to it being a short week, right? Yesterday markets closed. Today, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So 4 days this week. We'll have to see how the volatility looks. Worth skipping trading Thursday? No, I wouldn't say so. I don't ever come into a day looking to skip the day. I will come into the day understanding what is potentially a choppy day and potentially a day to be cautious. But I won't come into a day ever really be like, I'm not trading today for sure. Because there's always opportunities out there. Let's not mistake that, right? There's always an opportunity out there. But I will definitely be understanding of caution, right? When to be cautious. When do I feel like I can really strike? When do I feel like I need to keep, sort of calm and not put on so much risk? So, big economic data days like FOMC days, CPI days, you know not to come in with too much risk, right? You sort of know, you just have to prepare yourself, really. That's the key. That's why we're here, right? We're here this morning. We're here every morning. We're just here to prepare ourselves, get ourselves ready for what to expect. And that's the best thing we could do. That's the only thing we can do, right? So Tesla, 244, big level today. Very interesting chart here. Potential uptrend on Tesla. Actually, a potential long opportunity on Tesla today at 244. So I'm going to talk about that one. NVIDIA 480. This is a major level that must hold on NVIDIA. If this breaks, you definitely could see some downside on NVIDIA. So 480. Google 137, big level here again today. Amazon is also at the same level, 137. Google is rejecting 137. Amazon is holding 137. So big watch there. Shopify and Airbnb, two interesting weekly charts that I want to share. Meta, very stuck last week, and I should talk about it today. And then Netflix on a very important retest to be watching. So that's the schedule today. Fabir, thank you, brother. Amazon, Apple, I appreciate that, man. Thanks for Amazon, Apple. Thank you for the $20 donation. New donation. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. As always. All right. Let's do it. Let's get started. For everyone that's whining and complaining last week, the time frame and the ticker is back on the screen for you. Okay? So there you go. All right. Hopefully everyone's happy. All right. Let's go to the NASDAQ futures. So let's go hourly chart. And here's really what I'm watching today, right? It's pretty simple. It's pretty clear, right? You can see it right here. Is this doubled up? No, it's just a different shade of green there. All right, so very clear, right? Where is the NASDAQ holding? Where did the NASDAQ hold this morning, right? If we look at this NASDAQ hourly chart, right, you can see, yeah, there's always something to complain about. This house. There's something coming. Don't worry. It's coming. So you guys can see right here, 15,420. You see this little previous high right there? That's from Thursday of 2 weeks ago. You see this hold this morning, right? 15,420. See that? Right? So we can see there is definitely demand either at this 15,420 level, which we already see showing up this morning, right? Or the demand is going to step in very clearly around this 50 SMA, right? So we need to be a little bit cautious on the short side here today into both this 420, right, and also into this 50 SMA 350 level. Two very important levels to be watching to the downside if you see or if you're trying to trade downside today, right? If you're trying to trade downside today, you need to be careful of this previous high right here, which is what held in the morning, right? If we go to the 5-minute chart, why did the NASDAQ futures hold this morning at this level? Right? Why did we get an instant, sort of grind back to the upside off this 420 area? Well, it's apparent, right? There's a level there, right? It's not just voodoo magic, right? That's a level, and that is why we held. So if you're going to short the market today, then why short it back into the exact level that it held in the pre-market? It doesn't make any logical sense. So if you're going to short today, you better watch out for this previous high, which held as a demand this morning, okay? If you get a break under that level, if you turn it into a rejection point, then you could possibly look for that short towards the 50 SMA, right? Possibly. Maybe towards that 50 SMA, right? You guys can see right here, that 50 SMA starts around that 15,350, 15,360, which also lines up with, right? Which also lines up with some of these previous lows here, right? And if I zoom out on the 4-hour chart, right, this also lines up with this previous triple top or triple bottom. If you guys remember this, right? Let me actually go to the hourly chart. I think you'll be able to see it better. I'll go hourly. I'll get more time. So that 15,350, 15,360 level, which we just talked about, which is the 50 SMA, which is right there, is not only this previous low, right? It's also these previous triple bottom lows back here. So a little bit cautious on the short side there, right? I don't think you're just going to be slipping and sliding through, easy levels here if you do short the market today. You got to be cautious of this 420, right? 15,420 area, 415, 420. It's a general zone there. You can see it's a sort of a zone. It could be anywhere between, it could be up to that 430, 420. It's this whole zone here. And then you also need to be aware of that 50 SMA demand, right? So if you do see that downside today, just be aware of that, right? Be profit takers into those moves. To the upside, right? You do need to be cautious of trading upside, right? And if you are looking for upside, I think you need to be over 15,500. I don't think you want to play long today unless you are holding above this 500 level, right? 500 is a clear rejection now. It was rejections here. It was support here. It tried to turn into support. It's back into rejections, right? So if you're under 15,500 on the NASDAQ futures today, right, I would be careful of supply rejection stepping in there. 15,500. Now, see, this is what we do, right? We create our channels. So your channel today is 15,500 to around this 15,420 area. That's your channel. So what do? You either look for supply rejections, demand holds, right? Or you look for the break and hold for the confirmation of the next move, right? The break and hold for the confirmation of the next move. So you're either looking for a break and hold below pre-market lows, right? For continuation to the downside towards the 50 SMA, right? This is one move we could see today, right? That right there, 50 SMA possibly holds as demand. We could see a push into 15.5, a supply rejection, right? That could be a great trade today. Look for the supply to step in around 15.5. We could see the break above 15.5. We could see a nice 30-minute, hour-long consolidation above, which leads to maybe a bull flag for more upside, right? That's another move. But these moves will only happen at the key levels, right? This is why we look at key levels, because we know what to look for and where to look for them at. So we're looking for either reactions above or below 15.5 or above or below pre-market lows at 415, 420 on the NASDAQ futures, all right? Very clear. It's very clear. Just watch those levels. Look to see if there's reactions at them. If we start to see supply rejections, right? If you start to see stuff like this, then you look to see if that supply rejects at 15.5 today for that possible short entry. If you break below this 415, 420 pre-market low, then you're looking for the downside towards the 50 SMA. Now, last thing I'll note here on the NASDAQ futures, the major downside, or at least better downside, more slippery downside, would come in under that 50 SMA, right? Because look at what happened on Tuesday of last week, right? If you get under that 50 SMA, there might be some more slippery action, right, in this Tuesday straight upside move. So that's really your major watch. The 50 SMA on the NASDAQ futures. Keep an eye on that level. QQQ. 15-minute chart. Pretty clear levels here as well. So here's the QQQ, right? This is the same channel that we just created on the NASDAQ futures. It's right here on the QQQ ETF. So 376, 376, 376, Friday's lows, 376 pre-market lows, right? So where's the QQQ holding right now? The QQQ ETF is turning Friday's lows into support once again today. That is also this previous high from Tuesday, Wednesday of last week. That's also the hold of Thursday pre-market. That's also the hold of Wednesday afternoon, which caused further upside. So 376 is as clear as day and as important level today. So if you are above 376, then why are you shorting the market, right? Why are you shorting anything if the NASDAQ is over 376? You're not. It's holding previous day lows, double bottom lows. It's holding it again today. So at the very least, if you're looking to short today, I would want to see 376 get lost. I would want to see it turn into rejections. Maybe you even have to wait for this low around this 375, right? But really, the 376 is the major level in my opinion. That is something that I would be 100% watching today to see what happens at. You can see it here on the 30-minute chart. Look how important this 376 has been. 376, 376, 376, once again. So 376, major level here. If you break that, you probably come down towards that 373.50 and you towards that 50 SMA. To get upside today, right, what do you need to see the QQQ above today to get upside? Well, it's very clear, right? You don't want to be long if the QQQ is below 377.50. Right, you need this to turn this back into support. You need to get back above all this supply, right? This was supply rejections here, turned into support on Thursday. When we fell back below it on Friday, it couldn't get back above. It turned it back into rejections. We're below that again. So to be long today, you want to see this above 377.50. You want to see it turn into back into support like it did here on Thursday, to get that confirmation of upside, right? So 377.50 to around 376, that's your range to be watching today on the QQQ. ES, actually a very clean rejection all morning here at this 45.15 area, right? Look at this on this 30-minute chart on the ES futures. So ES futures, you can see right here, 45.15, 45.15, 45.15, 45.15, right? And after we broke below it in the this morning, right, in the pre-market, look at this 5-minute chart. Look at how we went from a support at this level, right, into rejections at this level. 45.15, 45.16, this whole general zone, that is your watch today, right? So if you stay under that level, right, if you stay under this 45.15, 45.16, then you are looking for potential supply rejections there. If you see rejections there, you could possibly move back into the demand, which is around 4,500. 4,500 right here, 4,500 right here. That is also the 50 SMA at 4,500. So what's your range today on the ES futures? Very easy. It's 45.15 to 4,500. It's a 15-point range. That's what you're watching today, right? You're looking for rejections here. You're looking for demand here. And you're looking to see, you either trade the channel, right? You either trade the channel or you look for clear break and hold above for confirmation of upside, or a clear break and hold below the 50 SMA for further downside. All right, that's all you're looking for. There's only 4 opportunities there, right? That's how I structure my days. I am only looking short here for any stock. I'm only looking for longs here if I'm seeing holds at that level. If I see the ES back above 45.15, 16 area, I'm only looking for longs. If I see it under the 50 SMA, I'm only looking for shorts, right? So I'm structuring my day around what this ES is doing. 45.15, 4,500. Watch this range today. As of right now, it's very, very clear, right? You can see that previous high right here turning into rejections again. You can see the demand that stepped in back here, that stepped in again this morning at that 50 SMA. Also, that key 4,500 level, right? So very clear there. SPY ETF. SPY ETF. That level this morning is 449. That 4,500 level, 449 right here, right? If we go back to that ES, you can see that 4,500 that we talked about on the ES. If we go to the SPY, it's 449, right? So right there, 449 on the SPY. Also, 450. 449, 450, 2 very important levels to be watching here today. If we go to the 15-minute chart, if we zoom in, you guys can see right here, look at 450, right? Look at 450. Look at 450. Right here again, 450. And look at what 450 is doing right there, right? 450. So, very clear, right? Very clear. 450. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we're above 450, be careful on the short side, right? Be careful shorting into 450. Very possible support there. If you break under 450, then possibly that short side play. So 450, that's key on the SPY today. Key supply is up here at 451.50. 451.50 right here, right? 451.50s, 451.50, right? And 451.50 rejections all day Friday. So if you hold 451, watch 451.50 if you're playing long, and look for the breaks of either side. Very clear there. 450 on SPY, 451.50. That's your key levels there. ES, 45.15, 4,500. NASDAQ, 15.5 to 15.420. And the QQQ looks to be around that 376 to 377.50. So very clear channels there today to be watching. Mr. Jones, go to the 4-hour chart. Ooh, that's an interesting little Dow Jones setup there. Little flag pattern action here. All right. So, yeah, look at the Dow holding this previous, this demand at 34.8. That's actually quite interesting. 15-minute chart here on the Dow. Yeah, it's holding this low, but it's also looking very weak to the upside, right? Look at all these upside pushes. Upside push, dead, right? Upside push, dying as well. So, yeah, the upside, the downside, the demand is holding, right? You can see right here, the demand continues to hold at the same level at that 34.8. However, these upside pushes look, They look right? So, yeah, be careful of that, right? Look at all these upside pushes. So, it's also rejecting that 50 SMA right now this morning. 50 and it's above the 20, but that 50 SMA right there looks a little iffy. So, yeah, watch the Dow. I would say as long as it's over that 34.8, as long as it's above this demand, it probably holds. But yeah, just be careful of these. Be careful of trusting that upside with what you've seen there. Pretty weak upside on the Dow. The Russell, interesting, fell back below 1920 here. Yeah, look at that. So the Russell fell back below 1920, right? You guys can see right here, 1920, 1920, and look at it back below 1920, also back below the 50 SMA there. So look at that. Look at the 30-minute on the Russell. We got above 1920, very temporary, right? Very temporary push. Came right back below it. Look at what happened after you flushed back under that 1920 supply. So yeah, I would say Russell, I would be very careful of looking for more upside on the Russell here into this 1920 area. That's a very clear major supply level on the Russell up there. If I delete these and clear this up, you can see this a little bit better. All right, look at this. Previous triple top, another major rejection here, and you're back below it. I'd be careful of trying to squeeze more upside out of the Russell into 1920 there, and the 50 SMA. All right. So that's the futures for now. We will, obviously we'll update things maybe towards the end of the stream if we see anything change here. But levels are staying pretty true on the ES here. Yeah, let's get into some stocks. If you could just take 1 minute, not even a minute. I'm only asking for actually maybe 5 seconds. Really, that's really what I'm asking for. You got about 1,700 people here, 400 likes. If you guys could press the like button for the amount of complaining that I get in the chat, all we have to do is press the like button, one press of the like button. That's all we need. That's all we need. If you guys could make that a habit when you come into the live streams to press that like button, that would be much appreciated. All right. Let's continue. Stocks, Tesla. All right. So, very key level here, 244 on Tesla today. Very key level. Let me go ahead and turn off this overlapping volume to clear this up. Yeah, so let's take a look at this. This is a very interesting chart here on Tesla. So, you have a previous major demand around this 244, right? Very major, 244. Then you have a major previous rejection at 244 as well, right? 244. So, previous major demand, 244, into major rejections, 244. Now, look at where you are back at today. You are back at 244, which was a previous double top, and you are also back to potentially the uptrending channel, right? Where you've been sort of trending higher. You're right back sort of at that trend line. So is today a little interesting long opportunity, maybe setting up a longer term long play on Tesla, right? At maybe a 244 retest here. This is very interesting. So previous high, right? Previous high, right? And look at the potential for demand at around this 244. It held here on Friday. It held here in the pre-market. Does it hold intraday today, right? Do you see any type of hold here intraday today? That is going to be my watch of the day, right? There's also a 20 SMA below. It's a little bit further below than I'd be willing to give this trade. I would want to see Tesla turn 244 previous highs right here into a demand today. And I would be looking to see if this creates a longer term, long opportunity after a nice aggressive pullback on Friday, right? Very aggressive pullback on Friday, right? Very nice, very good discount after a nice rejection of 260. Does this create an opportunity, right? Does that create an opportunity? Something I will be watching today. If you break below 244, if you turn 244 into rejections, then the play is no longer valid, right? And you need to understand that as a trader. You need to know when the trade is still valid and when the trade is no longer valid. This is what saves you from getting wrecked, right? So I'm not going to enter Tesla calls if it's under 244 and rejecting. I'm not an idiot, right? If it's under 244 and it's turning into rejections, then that trade that I'm talking about is no longer valid, right? It's invalidated. But if I see it holding 244 today, then I will consider that play, right? But we need to know when a trade is valid and when it is no longer valid. And in this situation, right, it needs to be maintaining 244. Below 244, if we see 244 rejections, right, it's not just if it drops below 244, right? Like right now, doesn't mean the trade's invalidated because it just got under it over, a 1 second, time frame. If I see it really stuck under that level, right, and it continues to reject multiple times, right, then I know it's invalidated. I need to give this, a couple hours of consolidation to see what happens at this level and see if maybe this is a little 4-hour channel, right? That's maybe a long opportunity for back to the upside of the channel, right? So something I'm watching. We'll see what happens at 244 today on Tesla. Just figured I'd share that. Yeah, very nice little watch there. So NVIDIA, 480, big level here today, right? Big level here today. Why do I say that? 480. Look at 480 here on the 4-hour chart on NVIDIA. You can clearly see how important this is. 480, 480, right? 480. And you can see here again, 480, another rejection right there. And you are back at it this morning. So 15-minute chart. If I zoom out, get a little bit more time here, 480. Thanks for that info, Chef. You guys can see right here, right? 480. Let's see what happens, right? If NVIDIA drops this 480 level, I could see there being some downside here. Maybe back into like this 470 to give back this straight up move on Tuesday. You guys see this straight up move on Tuesday here? If NVIDIA drops this 480 and starts to turn it into rejections, I could see maybe that pullback to around that 470. I think that is very possible, right? Back to here, back to some of these lows here. I think that's possible. You're also extended over that 20 and 50 SMA here. So very key level today, 480. Monitor how this sort of sets up. Does NVIDIA maintain this level? If it does, also potentially a decent long opportunity, right? Because if we go back to that 4-hour chart, this is still potentially a retest of previous highs, right? This is a potential retest of previous highs of 480. Maybe this creates another long opportunity. It's very possible, but we just have to be traders and we have to monitor what happens at that level, right? That's all we do. That's why you have to understand, right? I think most of you do by now, but you need to understand why I provide key levels on this live stream, right? Key levels are not meant to show you whether to long or short this, or it's not. I don't tell you whether to look only long or only short a level or a stock on this live stream. I give you the level, right, that will decide what to look for and will decide what you do, right? So the level of 480 that I provide here today will either decide for you that this is a long opportunity if you really see this maintain and you see, demand that continues to bounce off this level, right? If you just see this thing hold all day, then that's your deciding factor of, okay, this could be a nice long. Now, if you see that same reaction under 480, right, then that's your deciding factor of, okay, this could be a nice short, right? So 480 is not, I don't give you this level to say, oh, you must long NVIDIA today. You have to do it. I give these levels because, hey, 480 is what's going to decide the day for NVIDIA. 480 is that 4-hour level that I think is going to decide which way we look today for NVIDIA. So 480 NVIDIA, 244 Tesla. Those are your two big levels on the two major names today. All right. Next, Google, 137 to 135. Very key today for Google. You guys can see here, 137, 135. Look at the 137 level. This was a level I played long off of on Thursday, right? We played long on Google off 137. Look what happened after we fell back below it. Look how key this is. This is so apparent. It's I hope it makes sense to you, right? I hope this makes sense to you. 137, very clear rejection. 137, very clear rejection. On Thursday of last week, it turned 137 into support, right? And went long. Now, on Friday, look at how clear this rejection came in back under 137, right? Look at how key this level was. Back under 137, it could not get above it. As clear as day, right? So now, what are you looking for? You're looking for 137 rejections. If you stay under 137, you're looking for more downside on Google, right? It's as clear as day now. So 137 supply rejections, look for them. If you get a pop into 137 today, look to see if that rejection comes in, right? Now, to the downside, where do you have to be careful of being short? Well, it's very clear. Don't ignore the signs. 135, right? So if you short Google at 137, right? This is a very common, this is what you hear all the time. This is just an example of a trader that doesn't trade off levels, right? They short 137. Oh, yeah, great supply rejection, right? I'm looking for 130, right? I want a big win here. So they hold their short into demand, right? The market holds and it bounces back up. They stop out of the trade. They're like, what the hell? The market's manipulated. I can't stand trading, right? No, right? So if you do short 137 today, you need to be a trader and you need to be aware that demand can hold at 135 and you can't be upset if it holds there and you make, 20, 30%, right? That is a great trade, right? A short at 137, profit taking in the 135. That's a fantastic trade, right? That's a trade that is actually based off levels. That's based off risk reward. That's not asking to become rich in one trade, right? That's just a valid trade setup. So look for 137 supply, watch 135 demand, right? You could watch both sides, right? That's your channel today. 137, 135, a break of either side, right? Could create larger opportunities. So be careful of that, right? 135, 137, I'm watching both those levels today. All right, Amazon, 137 as well, right? 137 as well. Same exact level, but on Amazon. And we're looking at it a little bit differently here. So, hourly chart. Let me zoom out here a little bit, get a little bit more time. There it is. Actually, hold on a second. Yeah, wow, look at that. I got to extend that. Extend to the left. Bada bing, bada boom. There it is. So, look how important this 137 is here. So, 137 on Amazon. You guys can see right here, previous highs, previous double bottom lows. Hey. I'm gonna skip that one. Guys, if you're wondering where the VIX is, I'm sorry, man. I know, I think you come here a lot, and I respect you, and I appreciate you. But, if I'm doing something here, and you keep on asking where the VIX is, just go and look at where the VIX is. You know what I mean? Like, what is the VIX at on Google or on your charts? VIX, right? I'm not going to be able to answer those types of questions, so it's just a waste to ask them. 137, right? You guys can see right here. 137, previous highs. 137, low right there. 137, low right there. 137, previous high. 137, previous high, right? And look at 137 again today. So this is a very, very, very key level. 137 on Amazon. You can see previous rejections, previous support. You're back at it again today. So what happens at 137? That's what I'll be watching, right? So 137 right there, 137 right there, 137 right there. If we drop below 137, I will look to see if there is rejections, right? I'll look to see if there's 137 rejections under that level. These YouTube guys and their attitudes. Goodbye. Goodbye. Waste my time. I come here for free every day, and I get that. All right, 137. So, previous lows here, and a nice previous low right here. It is a short-term low, right? It is a short-term low. But it is a level to be watching, right? So if we go to the hourly chart, once again, I'll remind you there, right? Previous low, previous double top high, and a previous low over the last few days. So what are we looking for today? We either look to see if we could long 137, right? Maybe we could look for longs off this 137, possible long opportunity there, maybe back into that 140, right? 20 SMA is a little bit lower, around that 136, right? So it's a tad bit lower. So you know, let me sort of explain, like a possible scenario here, I got a little bit of time to waste here, but what very much happens in trading, right? Everyone, let's take a second, 1 second, focus in. If you're sort of not listening, take a second, look at the screen, look at my eyes, okay? This happens a lot in trading, right? So let's say you're trading short term. Let's say you're trading on the 2-minute, the 5-minute chart, right? Let me retrace. Hold on. Let me retrace. So we're looking at this chart on the hourly, right? Right. This is what we're looking at. We're looking at an hourly chart on Amazon, and we're spotting a 137 level on the hourly chart. Now, if tonight or tomorrow we come into the day and we see it move under and a hourly wick, right? If I could replicate an hourly candle wick, right, which means that Amazon did drop under 137, right? But it wicked back above, right? If I create maybe a little candle here, let's create like this little example of a candle, right? There's a nice little candle for us. So, right, think about that as a hourly candle on Amazon, which means that it did drop our 137 level, right? But it did close back above it, right? So, and if you're trading on, let's say, the 5-minute chart and you took that trade, there's a chance that you got stopped out of that trade, even though it wicked back above 137 on the hourly, right? And that's where we're analyzing this chart, which means that it could still be valid, right? Even if it drops under that, but in the same hour, it comes back above and wicks back above, right? So that's the type of thing you need to be aware of when you're trading these charts, right? And you need to understand when we look at this out on an hourly chart, sure, this might stop you out on a 2-minute chart, right? It might get back under 137 for 10, 15 minutes of the day. But if it sort of drops, touches that 20 SMA, right, and then sort of wicks back above 137 and closes back above it, that's still a valid trade, right? And that's still a trade you might want to be in. There is possibility of 5, 10, 15-minute, moves under these levels that stop you out, right? But if you sort of keep an eye on that longer-term look, you want to see whether this is actually a 1 hour, right? This is right here, right? Look at this. See these 1 hour candles? That's clear as day. Hey, this is no longer valid, right? Look at this 1 hour candle, rejection of 137. Look at the 1 hour candles rejecting 137, right? That's clear. But there's examples. See if I can find one. Can't really find one here. Well, here's an example to the upside, right? So some people may have looked to short 140 on Amazon here, intraday, right? This is a 1 hour chart. Some people probably shorted 140 and got stopped out here, right, on this candle, on the shorter term time frames. But look at what the hourly closed at. The hourly closed with a wick back under 140, and that is still a valid trade. So that's why you got to be a little bit lenient on your stops at times, and this is why I trade with smaller size, or not smaller size, but size that I can manage, right? Because I don't want to get stopped out of a trade over 40 cents because I'm panicking about the money that I'm losing, right? If I am in a trade, I want to give it a little bit of time, right? I want to give it a little bit of freedom, right? I want to understand that there's possible wicks that could show up. And if I have to give it an extra 40 cents on the underlying, I don't want to be losing my account, right? Because oh my God, it's 40 cents higher. I am down so bad, right? No, I don't want to be in that situation. So when I take a trade, I understand I got to give it some time. I got to understand I got to scale down. I got to be very comfortable in my trade, right? Again, there's a lot of things that could come out of just scaling down and actually being comfortable in the trades that you take, right? I don't think people understand that in trading. I still think that is a very, very looked upon or people just don't get it. They're like, I have to trade with more money than I'm comfortable. I have to be sweating my ass off in every trade I take. If this trade doesn't make me rich, then I don't know what I'm doing, right? Just be comfortable, man, right? Trade with size that you're not freaking out over. It's possible, right? And it will improve your trading. I promise. All right. If you just can enter a trade and not freak out about everything that happens, I promise you things will get better. Right? I promise you. You don't need to trade with astronomical size. So Shopify, 55, right? Weekly chart, right? Remember this weekly chart that we talked about? Very nice 55 level. On Shopify. Look at that weekly chart. I'm interested in more here. I would let you guys know, if you are in this Shopify trade, that there is very potential weakness in this 65-70 area, right? So if you are long Shopify from last week, which I am, and it's up very nicely, just be aware of this 65-70 area. It is a little bit heavy up here, right? It gets a little bit heavier in this 70 zone, so it's a little extended as well on the weekly. But yeah, just be aware of this. This is still a very nice move. What's going on the NASDAQ? Yeah, guys, I mean, this is... What am I going to say? Right? This is an example. Right? This is an example. And this is actually, I'm very happy this happened right here. This is a great little real-time lesson for everyone that's watching the stream right now. And this is why I say do not trade, right? And I know this is a little bit news related, right? Which I understand. But there is times that this is not news related and this is just algo driven, right? And possibly just sort of a disaster of a day for some people, right? Do not trade in the middle of channels, right? Because you have no idea what is about to happen, right? And this move is still nonsense. This move means nothing, right? This move right here means absolutely jack shit, right? Because it is still within the exact same channel that we have here on the market. It means nothing, right? But if you were short there because you just want to be short, right, and you have no idea why you're short, right, then you just probably got screwed, right? And that's why you don't trade in channels. You don't short into this, you don't long into this, and you don't mess around trying to scalp every single move that happens within a channel, right? You got to be aware of that potential volatility. You got to protect yourself, sort of, messing around inside those NASDAQ ES channels. All right, look at this. ES, yeah, sure, it popped. Look where it popped into. Same exact supply level. All right? Same exact supply level that we just talked about this morning, 45.15, and rejected again. So, got to be careful trading in those channels. Nice little live example there. You have no idea what the market could do if you're not playing off these levels, right? All right, let's go Airbnb. So Airbnb, this is actually a very interesting chart. This is a very interesting chart here that I spotted this morning. And the reason I am interested is because it actually looks sort of like Shopify. You can see here, weekly chart, you have this little weekly chart channel. You have this weekly chart break and retest of this 130 area, right? You see this 130 previous double bottom low. You have a previous 130 rejection, previous 130 rejection, previous 130 rejection. And look at what happened at 130 here last week, right? Wednesday, 130 hold. Thursday, 130 hold. Friday, 130 hold. those 130 holds are coming in right at a weekly double bottom, right? Which also lines up perfectly with a potential, I know it's a little bit extended, but a potential uptrend, right? So, interesting here, right? This looks like it could definitely have some continuation. I'm interested for potential continuation. As long as it's above, in my opinion, if I zoom in here, and get a little bit of a shorter time frame, as long as it's above around this 138 area, then I'm looking for maybe potential upside opportunity here. I think I want to see it hold above these previous lows right here on the 4-hour, around 138. And if it can, right, I'd be interested in maybe that longer term look here on Amazon or on Airbnb back towards that 155 area, right, on this weekly pullback opportunity. So I'm watching this. It's not something I typically trade because, it's just it's just not the same type of movement that I'm familiar with, large cap tech. But it's an interesting weekly chart. Nice little squeeze this morning. I would watch to see if it can maintain 138 today. And if it can, I think you could see that upside continuation. So something I would watch, sort of that back burner watch for me today. Steven, thank you, brother. Thanks, Desi, for allowing me to understand levels. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the donation. All right, Meta. So Meta, very stuck, right? Look how stuck this thing was last week. And this was a level we talked about, this 302 level. Look how stuck this thing got. Meta, major rejections, 302. And even on Thursday and Friday, major rejections, one of 302, right? Ugly. Also at that 50 SMA, back under that 20. So Meta has been very weak, very tired. Be careful of longing Meta. If you want to long Meta, this needs to be above 302. You need to see a very, very solid hold above 302 on Meta, right? Look how nasty those rejections came in at the exact same level, right? It's not difficult to read. You just need to trust and understand the levels. 302, major downside off of it. The same exact level double topped on Thursday and Friday, right? That is the type of trade you are looking to set up. This is where you need to take your trades, right? Look how clear that rejection was, right? That's where you want to be setting up those trades. So if you see another upside move, right, then look to see if it rejects 302 again. If it gets above 302, then you know you have your upside confirmation, right? So 302 Meta, major level. Demand could step up around this 291, 290, but I'm not trading Meta, right? I'm not touching Meta unless it is trading in this area, right? That's how you trade. That's how you set up, I think, a valid trade. You either look for 1 or 2, right? Those are the only 2 trades that you look for on Meta, and you just sit and you stay patient, right? You could try to long it off 295, right? But then you're longing it back into the 20, you're longing it back into the 50. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like those odds. I don't like that opportunity. Where I like opportunity is 302 rejections or 302 break and retest for longs. And what you do is you just simply don't do anything until it actually gets there. I know that's difficult for some, but it's shown you the rejections at 302, so you know that's possible. And the rejections that you've seen at 302 also give you insight that if it is to break above it, right, that would cause a squeeze to the upside, right? These rejections not only tell you that it could reject at this level again, but it could also tell you that there is an opportunity for a major squeeze above it if it is to break above, right? So use those levels as context. It's either a beautiful supply rejection again at 302 or a really sexy squeeze over it for more upside. Last one I got for you guys here is Netflix. This could be a really interesting break and retest. I would absolutely be watching this. This is a major previous high on Netflix, a major previous high on Netflix, a major previous high on Netflix that we have broken above on Friday, and we are potentially holding above today. So Look to see if we hold above 437 on Netflix. That is very, very interesting. That's a break and retest of a triple top. If we turn 437 into support today, I would look for potential long opportunities. That is also a hold all week on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It held above the 50 SMA very nicely there. So, very interesting. 437 Netflix. Keep an eye on it. All right. NASDAQ pushing a little bit higher here. If we can get above this 15.5, if we can hold above this 15.5, there's definitely potential for maybe some upside, right? Look to see if you can hold above that 15.5. ES got above our 45.15. If the ES can maintain over this level today, interesting potential for upside. All right, SPY holding our 450. Need to get over that 451. QQQ looks like it's holding that 376. I would want to see it over this 377.50. All right, so some interesting levels here. Let's see if the NASDAQ really needs to get above 15.5. That's the key, right? I do not want to long anything unless I see the NASDAQ get above this 15,500. That is the key. All right, guys, it's 8:53. I got to get out of here. If you guys could, press that like button, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all you guys for the donations today. Very much appreciated. Everyone that donated, everyone that subscribed to the channel, everyone that subscribed to the private live streams. Ruth, thank you. Fabir, shout out to you. And who else? Steven. Thank you, Steven. All right, guys, that's what I got. Check out those futures levels. They are very key. As always, 1,000 likes came nice and easy today. Thank you guys for all the support. We're back in Miami. It is Tuesday, so a short week. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll see you guys on Thursday, and I'll see you guys again on Friday. Yeah. Go watch Doc. He had some good streams last week. I recommend you watch him. All right, guys. Have a great one, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.
Yeah.